Hi, this is Lainey from Kozy Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today's episode is a PartyLite Pagans episode, and we're going to do Sigil using PartyLite wax. And so today's purpose is going to be personal empowerment for myself. And I took a cinnamon wax because I like the cinnamon for the fire and power of it to, grow my personal power. And so I made that little disc by melting some cinnamon wax and pouring it into a plastic bowl, which then I just popped that out. And now I'm going to write the words "grow my personal power." And this is the standard sigil method that you will find in, any book on sigils, where you just write out what it is and then you take the duplicate letters out. And so I do that I start with the first letter, and then then the second, and keep going and just crossing out all of that letter, and that way it's like I don't miss any that way. Well, normally. So but I'm going through this phase, I guess you would call it, where I feel that I don't have a whole lot of control in my own life or power, and so I'm wanting to take some power back in my own life. And so I hope people can relate to that, because I think everybody goes through periods where they just kind of feel powerless and not in control of what's going on around you in your life. And so I'm trying to take control back, and so I'm going to do that with this Sigil Magic here. And I'm kind of I used, you'll notice that first symbol looked like a little tunnel. It's an omega, and that's what I used for the O. I'm Greek, and so the omega kind of speaks to me, and whenever I'm drawing a sigil that has an O in it, I just use that omega. And then I'm making the other letters into branches of a tree. And I'm doing that on purpose because I really thought the idea of growing my personal power using a tree is a good plan. And and that didn't quite break the way I wanted it to, but it's a lot thinner than I expected it to be. I think I used too big of a bowl, and so this piece just broke. And so you'll have to grab a thicker piece of the same wax. There we go. And so now I can just carve that same sigil into this wax. Which PartyLite wax is pretty easy to carve. Being, paraffin, it's a much softer wax. And so it's pretty easy to pretty much carve and write in whatever you want. And I really like that. And then just had to brush off some of that excess because it's hard to see what you're doing. I drew the omega last on this this one because I didn't want it to be as big, obviously, because the wax piece isn't that big. And then put the glass plate on there. I would have had the glass plate on already, but you see I already had the candle burning, and then the glass would have got really hot and possibly would have cracked. I don't know, I've never cracked one, but I just know when I pick it up and it's super hot, then that's probably not a good thing. Sorry, I think I'm catching a cold. I just keep coughing. And anyway, so everything I've read about sigils is that you're supposed to destroy the symbol after you make it, and then let it do its, just let it continue to work its magic. Because you're, I guess, just sending that energy out into the universe, which is why I like doing it in the wax. Often on my own, I won't write it on paper. I kind of did that more for your logic. I'll just carve it directly into the wax, because then when that wax melts, the symbol is gone, allowed to do its work. And but because I did that on paper, I'm just going to burn it and in my little dollar store tray. It's like one of those little pie tins that you can buy, but they come in like 3 packs at the dollar store. And I do love shopping at the dollar store too. I love that. So then once I've burned that, I'm just going to add the ash into the wax. Normally, a lot of times when I use the aroma melts warmer and melt the wax, I often will, cleanse that wax later. I'll save it, cleanse it, and then reuse it for another spell. But for this, I'm not going to. I'm going to actually, I'll probably still pour it into a cup so that I can get it out in an easy disc, but I'll probably bury it. Or I might just let it burn all the way out, but probably not, because I'm a little worried about if the ash pieces would remain and stick into the thing and be harder to clean, because I've showed you on previous videos it's really easy to wipe this clean with a paper towel, and that's kind of how I like to do it. And then while it's melting, I was chanting. One of my favorite chants for personal empowerment is the the Isis, the goddess chant, Isis, Astarte, Diana, Hecate, Demeter, Kali, Inanna, that one. And if you're, for men, it's Pan, Woden, Helios, Apollo, Herm, Osiris. It's just taking in that feminine power or masculine power as you wish. Sometimes I chant the God prayer, chant because I want some masculine energy. And so there you have it. That is my Sigil Magic, and I hope that you really enjoyed this. And if you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.